lovelies, Larissa J here, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. Today I have a dating and relationships video for you guys. I've been getting the question about dating in a pandemic, which is a great question to ask. How does that work? Some people are just asking for encouragement. And so today, that's what we're talking about. Now, to narrow it down, I think the main question that I get the most right now is how to be found in a pandemic. And so that is what I'm going to cover today. Just provide you guys some helpful reminders and encouragement for those of you who are in this season of dating or wanting to be married in the midst of a pandemic, because things are definitely different. So I want to give you 4 things that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to being found in the pandemic. The first and primary thing that I want to remind you of is the fact that nothing is impossible with God. So this pandemic that we've been dealing with in the world has not been any kind of a surprise to God. He's not shocked by the things that have been happening. I know that it's news to us, but it's not news to him. And so I just wanted to remind you first and foremost of that all things are possible with him. Nothing is too hard for him. And so when you are fully entrusting your relationship status, your future, your desires, your heart's desires, when you're fully entrusting them to God, he won't let you down. Now, as you know, he has a plan for your life. He's always had a plan for your life that didn't just stop or change or disappear just because the world decided it wanted to act crazy, right? So he still has a plan for your life. He had that plan before all of this happened, and he still has a plan now. And so that's something that you want to continue to remind yourself of and cling to. I personally would encourage you, especially if you're a believer, I would definitely encourage you to stay full of the word and just meditate on scriptures and Bible verses that are going to help you to remember those things, help you to remember that this that's happening around us is not bigger than God. It's not too hard for him. It's not a shocker to him. But also that he said that he would give you the desires of your heart when you delight yourself in him, commit your ways to him. You want to make sure that you commit and surrender fully to him and not use him as some sort of genie, rub the lamp. Hey, God, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I have a wish, send me a man. Like, we're not doing that. But really cultivate a relationship with him and really get to know his heart and his plan for your life. And all of those things will be of an encouragement to you as well. So the first thing for sure, and how to be found in a pandemic, is relax, breathe, and remember that God has a plan for you and nothing is too hard for him. Okay, this is not a shocker. The second thing is that he's not moved by worldly circumstances. Just because there are things taking place here on the earth with us doesn't mean that if it affects or impacts him. He's God, right? He created the earth, the world. It's not bigger than him. So he's not moved by circumstances, especially these worldly circumstances. I understand that as humans, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, what? That happened? Did you see the news? Like, sometimes it might move us or come as a shocker to us or make things a little bit more challenging for us. But that's because we are fallible, imperfect human beings. But it doesn't move God. So just because we know it as a pandemic and this is what's going on right now, that's not something that slows God down. And so if he promised you something, just remember that he's going to do as he promised. He can't lie. So just cling to his promises, remind yourself of the things that he's told you. I know for me, when I was single, I would sit before God regularly, daily, and just learn his heart and hear from him, even as it related to my personal life. And I knew that he told me that I would get married. And so that was something that I really clung to, because I knew, like, even when I was discouraged or things didn't look like they were turning out the way that I intended them to, or things were taking a little bit longer than I expected, I always went back to, well, this was the promise that he gave me. He told me that he has a husband for me and that I will be married one day. And so that's just something that I have to continue to cling to and remind myself of, regardless of what's going on. I remember during that time, there was like a hurricane. I was living in Florida at the time, and there was this hurricane that was hitting and the power went out, and it was pretty intense, and I just remember thinking, okay, like, but he promised me a husband, so this can't be the end. This can't turn out like crazy bad, because I know that he promised me this. So I would say, remember that he's not moved by worldly circumstances, and cling to any promises that he's given you. Number 3, I would say be open. So this one is, you might have heard before. I know that I mentioned it on my channel, but this is something that I've definitely learned over the years, is the importance and the significance of being open, especially if you're in a season of dating and waiting and believing God for a spouse. Being open is super important. And when I say be open, I'm not saying settle, because y'all know I am not all about settling. Okay, we don't settle. Don't settle. I didn't settle, and I know that it's worth waiting. And I'm telling you guys, don't settle. Okay, it's worth the wait. So when I say be open, that's not what I'm saying. When I say be open, I mean, if you have a particular type, a little type, you like a certain look, or you want somebody with certain qualities that are not like your foundational qualities, or whatever the case is, you might want to be a little more open when it comes to the package, the way that the package is presented. Okay, you might be looking for somebody that has, like, I don't know, what have I heard, some swag, and the person that you come across might not have as much swag as you would have expected, or something like that. Be open. Not only be open with the type of person or the presentation of the package, but also be open in the way that you meet the person, especially now in the midst of a pandemic. That would be something that I would highly suggest, is just be open. There are so many ways now that you can meet other people, so many ways now, more than there were years ago. So even though, yeah, it's a pandemic, you still have an advantage, because we are so far advanced in the world. So you might have been expecting to bump into your husband at church during the welcome, or during praise and worship, or whatever. But that may not be the plan that God has for you. That might not be part of the love story that he's writing for you. And so it's important to just be open in that regard. Once I got a full hold of that, and a grasp and an understanding of that, I made sure that I was open. I had tried the, go to different conferences and different churches, and visit here and visit there, and see if you have any friends that know friends that, I did all of that. And then I realized, like, I really do need to be open. I did try the online dating thing. I was open to meeting somebody online. And of course, as you guys know, unless you're new, as you guys know, I met my husband on social media. And I wasn't looking for him at the time that he found me. So if you don't know any of my stories, I'll put a card, and make sure that you watch my other videos. But I had to be open in that. It wasn't like I would have missed out on a blessing had I said, oh no, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter. No, I'm waiting for God to send this person to my doorstep. Or, oh no, I'm waiting for this person to bump into me at church or in the grocery store. Like, be open, please. Just be open. Let God do what he wants to do in your life. My 4th tip in being found in a pandemic is focus on other things. Don't let this consume you. Do not let what's going on in your situation and the way that you feel about it, don't let that be a consuming factor in your life. Like, give it to God, pray about it, let him know how you're feeling, what your desires are, yield to him, surrender to him, and then move on and do other things. That's usually the best thing to do anyway, is focusing on other things, focusing on serving, focusing on investing in other people, helping. There's a lot of people right now who need help, who need kindness. There are many opportunities to give to other people. And so you want to take advantage of those opportunities right now, really just investing in other people. That'll help you to get your mind off of, oh my goodness, it's a pandemic, how am I going to be found? But it's also going to allow you to sow seeds into other people's lives. You reap a harvest on that as well. So that would definitely be another thing that I would encourage you to do. But don't sweat it. Don't worry if, that's a part of God's plan for your life, is to be married, and that's what he's promised you, then best believe then that's what's going to happen. And so it's just really important to relax. And that's just something that I constantly think of often, even in my personal life. It's just how much time I wasted and how much time I spent worrying about and thinking about, like, where's my husband going to come from, and when am I going to meet him, and what's taking so long, and where is he at, and what can I do to be found, and all of that. And then looking back, it was like he was there all along. I had met him years before I even realized he was my husband. We had interacted, we had talked, and I was doing all of that, like, oh my gosh, where's my husband? Where's my husband? Not even realizing I had talked to him, I'd met him, I'd had conversations with him, and just looking back, it was like, wow, that was just such a waste of time. I could have done other things with that time, done other things with that money. And so I want to encourage you to just relax. It's going to be okay. Pandemic or not, God's got you. And it's important that you trust him. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Feel free to share it with whoever you feel like it might be a blessing to during this season. Give it a thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.